Pune and the pioneer of Loyola High School on Pashan Road, Pune. We begin with a PowerPoint presentation on Father Schoch.
And entered the Jesuit society there. In 1938, he came to India. After a year in Marathi and Sanskrit studies, he had 3 years of regency at St. Vincent's School, Pune, and was hostel prefect there. After his ordination, he taught at St. Jude's, Dev Road for 2 years. He was a visionary and a pioneer in the field of education. He started the first Jesuit Marathi secondary school, Jnanmata Vidyalaya, at Sangamner, Ahmednagar district, and set up the Pune Jesuit School Society, PJSS. From 1957 to 66, he was principal of St. Vincent's. He constructed a new 3-story building, extended the school grounds, and built a stadium. He introduced German into the Maharashtra school and Pune University curriculum. He was a member of the Senate of Pune University for 14 years and a member of the Academic Council of Maharashtra School Board for 14 years. He wrote a book on civics and Indian administration, which was prescribed as a Maharashtra school textbook. When Jesuits wanted to start Loyola High School, Father Schoch's shoulders proved eminently fit to take on this Herculean task. He had an astute understanding of banking rules and financial administration and was the treasurer cum advisor of Pune and Nashik dioceses and of the Pune Jesuit province. He is also remembered as a preacher and a writer. He wrote a well-known commentary, God on Weekdays, and completed the manuscript of God on Feast Days. As India was ringing in the 3rd millennium, Father Schoch peacefully closed his eyes on the land he had made his own for 62 years on the 1st of January 2001. Fittingly, his old students, colleagues, and well-wishers came to the Hadapsar cemetery in large number to pay their respects.
But this gives us only his biodata. But Father Schoch was a man of flesh and blood. So we can now ask, who was Father Schoch? What kind of a person was he? We shall now narrate a few experiences from his life that reveal some of his qualities. We present sharing experiences of Father Schoch, an outstanding principal.
D'Souza, a teacher. Father Schoch was a strict disciplinarian. He would get upset if teachers took casual leave often. One school day, I had a bad cold and high fever. I took a tablet and went to school, hoping to take my usual load of classes. I was afraid of Father's reaction if I applied for casual leave. As Father Schoch took his daily round around the school, he came across my class. I was all wrapped up and sniffing. He noticed that I was struggling to take the class. He returned to his office and sent for me. I was a bit afraid and anxious as I entered Father's office. Inviting me to take a seat, Father said, "Sir, I just passed by your class this morning and noticed that you were struggling to teach because of your bad cold. You all know how strict I am about teachers taking casual leave. But this does not mean that you must report to duty even when you're really sick and can't teach. I want you to take casual leave and go home now. Please rest, get well soon, and then report back to duty. I have appointed a substitute for you, so don't worry." I was amazed and father's concern for me as I made my way home.
Father Schoch, I love teaching children, interacting with them. They are so open, so pliable. In molding them, we are forming the next generation, our future. This is why I insist that our teachers take their job seriously, as a calling, a vocation. Every time a teacher takes leave, the teacher, in a way, does an injustice to the students who have to spend their entire day in school without really profiting from it. This is why I want my teachers to avoid taking. Children have a strong sense of justice. As long as you are fair and reasonable, children accept the punishment meted out to them, even my belting. Besides giving them a hearing, I also visit them when they are sick, so they know that I do not reject them even when I correct them.
Harish Shetty, a student. All of us boys knew that father is a strict disciplinarian. He was not reluctant to use his famous black rubber belt, but he was also just and would not punish a boy until he had heard all the parties involved. One day, there was a lot of noise coming from our class. The teacher, Mr. Deshmukh, escorted me to the office and presented me before Father Schoch. He had a whole list of complaints against me and blamed me for the commotion that had just occurred in the class. Father, this boy Harish is no good. He neither studies nor does he allow others to study. His work is incomplete. He does not make his submissions in time, and he is always fighting and using bad language. I found him fighting with Suresh, a boy who sits in the next row. Suresh is such a clever and good boy. I think Harish should be severely punished and given a grey card. Father sent Mr. Deshmukh back to class after listening to him. He then asked me as to what had actually happened. I told him that I did not start the fight. I was busy completing my notes when some of the other boys who had finished copying started disturbing me. I ignored them for a while, but then Suresh, encouraged by the others, pulled my notebook away from me. That was the last straw. I let him have it. Just then, Mr. Deshmukh entered and saw us fighting. As usual, he blamed me for everything and would not listen to what I had to say. I requested Father to ask the monitor and some of the other boys who had seen as to what had actually happened. Once Father found out who the real mischief makers were, he called them. And warned them of severe punishment if they did not improve. I was happy that I had been given a fair hearing and that my innocence was vindicated.
Mr. Pratap Patil, a parent. I was closely associated with father as I had 3 sons studying at Loyola. I was constantly meeting him and listening to his plans for the school and seeking his advice for my sons. One day, one of my sons was severely sick and could not attend the terminal examinations. As soon as father heard about it, he came after school to visit his sick student. As we had no lift, he had to climb 3 floors to get to our flat. Imagine our surprise and admiration when we found a red-faced smiling principal out at our door waiting to meet a sick student. After spending some time chatting with my sick son and us, Father took our leave. My son soon got well, but my family and our neighbors will never get over his memorable visit. These incidents have given us a deep insight into Father Schoch's personality. But he was a great visionary and a human being par excellence. And I'm sure we will always have fond memories of Father Schoch.